Hey guys, I just wanted to do a little bit of a setup video for you guys, just explaining my favorite symbols. Now, I do have a lot of symbols because I'm trying to find I have a couple different sounds, different symbols for different styles, and the reason I like having a lot of symbols is because, first off, I can afford some of them. Some of them are gifts, some of them I traded for, but it's mainly for the drum covers because if I had one setup, I'd like to have one setup of cymbals that I could use for everything. I just haven't found it yet. But if I had a pair of rock hi-hats and then a 20-inch, like a 19-inch crash like this that was super thin, and then a 20-inch which was like a medium thin like this, and then I had like a super heavy ride cymbal or super light ride cymbal, that's not gonna sound good for every single song I play. So it's good to have like an extra one, like for if I have like something that's jazz or just with darker cymbals in general. I have my minor cymbals. These are my favorite cymbals for versatility because I can use them for a lot of stuff. So I'll just quickly go over them here. Alright, so first cymbal is actually down here. And this is the one I've had the longest. Now I've had some A customs longer. But this is the one I still have that I've had for a long time, and it's an 18-inch A custom medium crash. It's 2015. I got this last year, like very early last year, like January. That came with my K Zildjians. I actually bought it myself, not for Christmas. So we have this one. I've used it in a couple covers, and it's a great sounding cymbal. So I gotta pull that one back out and start using it a little bit more. I usually do hi-hats, ride, and then crashes. Hi-hats, just regular A custom hats, 14s. And what I like about these is I have a pair of new beat hi-hats as well. And the only thing about them is they're a little bit thicker around the edge, so they don't wash very well sometimes. I use them in Hello Hurricane and stuff like that, but they're not great for everything just because of that. They sound more like heavier hats. These have a little bit of a lower pitch, and they have a thinner edge on them, on both the cymbals, so they have like a more versatile sound, especially if you're doing like some really sloshy stuff. You can loosen up the clutch and make them sound a little bit better. The ride cymbal, now this is a 22-inch A custom ping ride from 2010. Those ones are 2008. So it's only 7 years old. It's not bad. I've cleaned it and redone the logos. But the reason I ended up with this one is because, so for the 20-inch, the 19, the 14s, the 16, and then there was originally the 18 A custom crash, but I sold that one because I have one very similar to it. I already had those kind of like on the list of cymbals I really liked. So when it came time to kind of pick my setup, I'm like, I liked all the A custom rides, but I had to just choose on one. My first choice was the 20-inch medium ride because that was kind of the traditional ride cymbal. But I already had a 20-inch crash, and I don't have a ride cymbal and a crash cymbal the same size usually. And so I'm like, okay, so I want at least a 21. So I looked at the 21-inch Sweet Ride, but I ended up getting that one later on because I like it. It's a great cymbal, but I use it more as a crash, and I wanted a heavier ride that had a kind of more stick to it. So I decided on a 22-inch ping ride because I'd been listening to 21 Pilots a lot. And I learned that he used the 22-inch ping ride, and I know he never used it as a ride cymbal, more as a crash cymbal, but I listened to a couple of sound demos and stuff like that, and I decided I really liked it because it sounded like the medium ride, but it has more stick and a louder bell. And my favorite thing to do is crash on the ride cymbal because for some ride cymbals like this one, it sounds like you're not supposed to, and I actually use that to my advantage for like bridges and stuff. Crashes. I'm going to do this one first because this was my very first A custom cymbal. Now, not this one in particular, but my very first professional cymbal because it was actually, I got it at my music store. It was a cracked 60-inch A custom crash. And I used that one for a while, but the crack just kept getting worse because I didn't know how to repair them correctly. I didn't sand anything or anything like that, so it just kept getting worse. And I'm yet to find it. It's somewhere around here, but it was my first fully professional cymbal. Because at the time, all I had were the Sabian XS20s and B8s and stuff like that. I was a Sabian guy back then, even though I have 2 Sabian cymbals now. But 60-inch A custom crash was my very first professional cymbal, and they used one at my old church. and it sounded really good in the Sanctuary. So I'm like, hey, if I could find one that's really cheap or something like that, then I would grab it. This is my favorite out of all of them. The A Customs is my 19-inch crash, and it is a little bit dry, but it's also very wet sounding, so it's kind of both. It's a wet sound, but it has shorter sustain. This thing, it just opens up super easily. It's super thin, super flexible. Very nice cymbal. So 19-inch crash, and then here is my 20-inch A Custom crash. Now, this is like, I think this is the only 20-inch crash cymbal I have. The only other big cymbals I have are 19-inch. And then 21-inch cymbals I use as crashes, so like the Sweet Ride and then the Byzance Medium Ride. So yeah, that's my current cymbal setup. And if I was going to, like, I actually used funny enough, I use the 60-inch crash as my splash cymbal. But if I were to get an actual splash cymbal, I'd probably get a 12-inch. Or if I wanted a smaller pair of hi-hats, I'd probably get some K Custom hybrids or A Customs. So I'm not sure. But I'm still in the process of swapping out cymbals, like selling old ones and kind of going between sounds and stuff like that. So that's why I shared this setup with you. It's my A Custom setup. And these cymbals I've been using for quite a while. Most of them 2016. Some other ones 2017. So that's why I run those through with you, just because kind of my favorite cymbal setup, and you're going to see a lot more of them, especially as I do more 21 pilots. So hope you guys enjoyed the video.